Welcome back. Today I have three amazing fragrances that are 100% dupe in my opinion for Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. So if you like Good Girl and with the current dollar rate, and you cannot go there, but you want to be a good girl, right? These are dupes that you can get that will get you smelling similar to that. If something is a dupe, doesn't mean it is exact, because I will sue you if you copy me word for word, you understand? So but they smell very similar. They have similar notes. They might not have every of the note that is in the, that's what makes it expensive. Like those people take their time to put exotic notes that are rich and expensive, so that it's what you buying. But these dupes would have, if there are like 10 notes in Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, there will be like 5 notes in the dupes. That's what I've come to understand. And in my opinion, it's so hot in Nigeria. I don't know if it's hot like this in your country, but the heat these days, oh god. So these are dupes that are, in my opinion, the closest to the Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. If that's something you're interested in watching, definitely sit back, relax, and enjoy. So top on the list, number one for me, and for me, I would say this is one of the closest dupe for the Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, is this one. This is B Huran. Yes, I remember 2023 and towards the end of 2022, TikTok perfume reviewers, they didn't want us to hear word on the streets of TikTok. B Huran, oh, I found the perfect dupe for Good Girl. Oh, are you looking for a perfect dupe of Good Girl? B Huran, B Huran, B Huran. So everybody was raving about B Huran. And most of the times when people talk about, oh, this perfume is perfect, it's a dupe of this, I buy it and I'm like, I don't agree. But with this one, I 100% agree. Let me take this is how B Huran comes. It comes with this pamphlet by Adal Zafran. Most of Adal Zafran fragrances, Musuf, anyone you buy from them always comes with a pamphlet explaining the fragrance. Okay, how gorgeous this bottle looks like. For aesthetics, this is very aesthetically pleasing. For the top notes, you get almond, coffee, ylang ylang. For the heart notes, you get jasmine and rose. And then for the base notes, you get vanilla, praline, musky, ambre, and woody. For me, I would describe B Huran as an amber floral scent with a bit of spiciness, and the spiciness I mean here is like dark spices, like coffee, that coffee cocoa kind of smells. That's how I would describe B Huran. And let me first talk about Good Girl and give you the notes of Good Girl so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about. If you know Good Girl even till today is one of the top selling fragrances for women, one of the top luxury fragrances for women. So the main accords of Good Girl is sweet, white floral, warm spicy, vanilla, cacao, amber, woody, tuberose, almond, powdery. I totally 100% agree. And then the top notes for Good Girl is almond, coffee, bergamot, lemon. Middle note, tuberose, jasmine, sambac, orange blossom, oris, Bulgarian rose. Can you see that Good Girl has more sophisticated and more quantity of notes compared to the dupe? See what I'm saying, right? Then you have base notes of tonka bean, cacao, vanilla, praline, sandalwood, mox, amber, cashmere wood, cinnamon, patchouli, and cedar. The notes here are almost like 15. Like they have a comprehensive list of notes here. A lot of notes in the Good Girl. Good Girl is sweet, ambery, vanilla, flowery scent, and it is very sweet. It is very heavy on the sweet note. I would describe it as a sweet, ambery, flowery scent. Okay, the citrusness though from Good Girl, this smells very good. The citrus, that citrus fruity note from bergamot and lemon in the opening of Good Girl, you get this here, but very slight. Okay, I would say This smells like the dried down version of Good Girl. That first burst of citrus, bergamot, that first burst of fruitiness you get from Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, you don't really get that from here. But this smells more like when that first burst of the citrus notes comes out and then the fragrance starts to settle down into the main notes. That is when this resembles Good Girl for me. At the opening, you don't get the same, okay? But at the dry down, you're like, ooh. B Huran smells like this. Okay, so this is the recommendation for my girlies who love Carolina Herrera's Good Girl and you're looking for a very affordable dupe for it. This is it. This is also not cheap now. If you check the dollar, as at the time I got this fragrance, I think it was it? I can't remember. It was being sold for 13.5 and all that. Right now, you don't even want to know. But I'm going to leave a Jumia link for this fragrance down in the description bar for people who want to get this. If you're a Good Girl lover and you're like, oh, I don't have that kind of money to spend on Good Girl, definitely do get this one. Next fragrance I have with me is Anna I Am Abiyed I Am White. In my opinion, this Anna Abiyed I Am White is by Lattafa. In my opinion, this is the closest to me among the three I'll be talking about today. This is the closest to Good Girl, okay, because it resembles Good Girl right from the opening. Let me spray this here. Right from the opening, and oh my god, this is so good. It resembles Good Girl right from the opening. On the dry down, the vanilla ylang ylang, not so strong on the cocoa for me, but you get the tuberose, you get the vanilla. Oh my god, you get the sandalwood, you get jasmine. Okay, this is beautiful. I would say this resembles Good Girl for me basically from the opening, as opposed to B Huran that smells like Good Girl on the dry down. Like when Good Girl has dried down and it has settled. Yes, the reason why I say this is that the opening of the Anna Abiyed Rouge I Am White is more on the, like you get a burst of like bergamot and lemon, okay, which resembles the Good Girl on the opening. And then on the dry down, you start to get the notes of like vanilla, mox, and amber. Another thing again I would say is that B Huran is stronger in terms of sillage and projection, but in terms of longevity, I would say the Anna Abiyed Rouge, this one lasts longer. So let's go to the last one, which is Kima. I've talked about Kima here. I have a full review of all of them. I have a full review on all of them. This is Kima. Some people said it smells, and I think somebody even left a comment like that, whether was it on my TikTok or here, I can't remember, but somebody left a comment when I talked about Kima, and the person was like, it's a very good dupe for Good Girl. And I thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's true. So let's spray Kima out. Same thing, Kima resembles Good Girl on the opening. On the opening of Kima, you get more of the almond, coffee, and slightness of bergamot, not so heavy. So on the opening, it somehow resembles Good Girl. Once it starts to dry down, that is when you really form. But once it dries down, this is Good Girl. This is Good Girl. This is Good Girl. This is Good Girl. For me, I would say, if you ask me, amongst these three perfumes are gorgeous, like gorgeous. Oh, oh my god, these are powerhouses. These three perfumes are gorgeous. Now my verdict on the three of them. For me, which one resembles Good Girl mostly on the opening? From 1 to 3, it will be this 1, 2, and this last. Which one resembles Good Girl mostly on the dry down? This one and this one. on the dry down. Okay, but if you have either of them, they give you, you just get this like, this smell. They have very similar to Good Girl. Don't smell exact like Good Girl, but has very similar DNA. A fourth fragrance that I would recommend that smells like Good Girl that I have used is Strive Perfume. I've reviewed that perfume here. Strive Perfume resembles Good Girl so much on the opening, and then later on the dry down, like 2 hours into the fragrance, it smells very similar to Good Girl. So these are the 3 dupes for me. Which one lasts the longest? I'm going to rate them again from 1 to 3. Number 1, I will give this number 1 for longevity, followed by this and B Huran the least. But for performance, they perform above average in my opinions, and I 100% recommend these 3 dupes. Not saying they smell exactly, but they have very similar notes and very similar smell, and they have very great similarities with the Good Girl fragrances. I hope you enjoyed this review and hope to see you in my next one.